Without knowing it, Franco Colapinto is going to make history in 2026. Without racing, you might ask? Well, yes, that too, if you want to put it that way. There's a statistical fact I want to highlight for you. It has nothing to do with a victory, a podium, a world championship, or anything like that. It's just a hook. But in fact, it's true. Franco Colapinto is going to be part of a historic process that is happening for only the second time in history. Yes, the second time in history. What am I talking about? About this trilogy, this trident, this triangle that involves Alpine, Renault, and Mercedes. Well, some people know this, but for those who aren't aware, for the 2026 season, the Alpine team, where Franco Colapinto will race alongside Pierre Gasly, who is still with Renault, will be powered by Mercedes. It's curious because Renault has always been a manufacturer that made its own engines for its own cars, with very few exceptions, and you really have to look very carefully through history to find them. And that's where I pause. And that's where Franco Colapinto comes in without even knowing it, because the intention is for this car in the upcoming season to perform better with that Mercedes engine. Now, where does this story come from? The story comes from this angle. Flavio Briatore, who is the advisor to the Alpine team. In the restructuring that began in the middle of last year, the first decision he made was to target Viry-Châtillon. What was this about? Let's see, the factory where Renault makes a large part of its sports products, but among the most important things it did was the development of engines for Formula One. Briatore, what he decided was to freeze that project, and starting this year, which is about to begin in March in Australia, Alpine would become a customer of Mercedes, and that Mercedes would supply them with engines. For that, he first needed consensus from the people at Renault, which he achieved, but he also had to resolve a labor issue. Very important. Because the concern was that many people who were working on the development of the Formula One engines would be left without a job. Fortunately, and as far as we know, the workers kept their jobs, but their objectives changed, especially the previous endurance tests from the Alpine team. But the decision had been made, and Flavio Briatore got his way. Welcome, I'm Adrian Puente. This is my YouTube channel, Telemetrico F1. The story continues. Because to put it in perspective, you have to remember that, in principle, Alpine as a brand, competing for points, whether they get them or not, has been active since 2021. With these specifications, the A521, the 522, and the A520, and so on up to the 525 from last year with Gasly and Franco Colapinto with a noteworthy event.